Hi people kind, it's been a long time since we had a little chat. I know we have little chats related to and tied into other topics, but today we're just gonna have just a little chat about stuff. So first of all, I want to start off by saying that my channel is nearly at 4,000 subscribers now, so thank you so much for all the support and welcome to all the new subscribers. I really appreciate all the comments and opinions and likes and support that I get from you guys. And as I said before, I really try to get to almost all of the comments. It's getting a little bit more difficult now, but I would say, I don't know, I guess my aim before was to get to answering around 90% of the comments, and I would say it's probably dropped down to about 70% now, 75%. But still, just know I do read every comment and I really appreciate them all, and I'll get to as many as I can. Sometimes there's just not enough time. Another thing I wanted to mention is that I have recently set up a Ko-fi account, Ko-fi, which is a way to support me if you want, if you wish, because I already have a Patreon account, but I know a lot of people don't really like Patreon for various reasons, and also the thing of, you know, it's a continuous donation every month, so maybe some people are just not interested in that. If you want to support me and my channel, then like just on a once-off, and then you could, if you want, do so by buying me a coffee, which is through the Ko-fi page. Of course, you could also buy me a beer, which would be a bit nicer. Buy me a beer. So I'll leave the link so you can check it out if you wish. So another thing I want to talk about today is the fact that a couple of other YouTubers have been talking about the difficulties or the disadvantages, the problems associated with being a YouTuber, and I just wanted to give my opinion and my own experience on that. Obviously, compared to these other channels, my channel is really tiny. So I'm talking about Computing Forever, Dave Cullen, and Blonde in the Belly of the Beast, who both gave a bit of their insight on what it's like, the impact it has on their lives. And first of all, just focusing on Dave's video, I totally understand where he's coming from, and I'm mentioning this because a couple of people said it to me also, that it can take its toll, you know, spending so much time alone, working, editing, writing scripts and stuff like that, researching. It's all stuff that you do alone, and so all of the time that you're putting into this is time that you're not around other people, and it can have a negative effect on your life. And I really understand how that could be for most people, but for me it's completely different. So I just want to explain this, just so you know, so nobody is, just so you understand where I'm coming from, that it's not ever going to be a problem for me, because I have always, from the very beginning, since I started working, I have always aimed to work alone and to be self-employed. It was always my goal from the very beginning. I don't like working with other people. In fact, well, I can't stand it. I cannot work with other people. I have to be alone. I really hate working in an office or anything else where not only the thing of dealing with customers, because I've had my fair share of jobs in the past dealing with customers in restaurants and shops and things like that, but even just dealing with co-workers, you know, saying hello to people in the morning, eating lunch with people, talking to colleagues during the day, emotional support, listening to your colleagues' story about her new designer handbag, all of the moments of time that are wasted on this in-between stuff. I just don't like being around other people in general, so it's like a priority for me to spend most of my time alone. YouTube or no YouTube, this is what I would be doing anyway. And working is really one of my main interests. It's just what I want to do. I want to spend the majority of every single day alone at home working. So it's never going to be a problem, because it could never be any other way. And if it wasn't YouTube, it would be something else. Like, well, it is other things as well now at the same time, but there are always going to be projects and work for me to do, and it will always be just me at home, alone. And it's been like this for years. It doesn't have any negative impact on me. I do socialize now and again, but in general, I just really don't find it that interesting. And another aspect of this, which is what Blonde in the Belly of the Beast was focusing on, is the negativity. So mostly, I guess, when you're dealing with political stuff, or the things that I focus on, like immigration to Europe and future demographic projections, and there's a lot of negative, pessimistic stuff in there. And she was saying that it's not going to be very good for her relationship and for her family if she continues down that path and doesn't develop her more feminine traits, which would be more conducive to family life. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I mean, I can totally see her point of view for herself again, but for me, talking about this stuff doesn't make me feel bad. I don't feel it. I don't see it as a negative thing whatsoever. It's the complete opposite, because whether I talk about it or not, it's still happening, and I would still be reading about it and be aware of what is going on, as I was for years before I started talking about it in my videos. And I think that's worse. I felt, before I started talking about this stuff in videos, I was really, sorry if you can hear the noise, my neighbours are out in their garden laughing. Before I started talking about it, I was really stressed out that I was so helpless and unhelpful, just reading about things that were happening and not being able to do anything. And I always wanted to do something, but I just didn't. It wasn't a question of if, more a question of when and how. And then when I started talking about it and making videos about it, I've just felt so much better, so relieved. Not negative at all. I mean, it is, there are a lot of terrible things happening, but talking about them and making videos about them and presenting the information does make me feel better, in the way that at least I'm doing something. Just something is better than nothing. Because really, I think, for me, it's not a choice. There never was a choice. Well, there was a choice in so much as I could choose to live in accordance with my values, or the only other choice would be to live not in accordance with my values, but be extremely bothered by this forever. Like, I don't know, I guess it's kind of hard to explain if you haven't had that feeling. But when you know that something is happening and you're not doing anything, you're not even speaking out against it, it's a terrible underlying nagging feeling that will never go away and will never let you rest easy until you do something or say something. So in reality, really, there is no choice. Either do something or be tortured forever by the reality of not having done anything. And then, you could say, Well, what are you doing? Talking isn't going to solve anything. And maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't. But if this ship goes down in the end, at least I'll be able to say that I was there till the very end, bailing water from the decks. Even if my bucket is a thimble. So yeah, pretty much that was what I wanted to say. This doesn't have a negative impact on me and my life, and I hope at the very least that maybe some people feel the same and maybe just start talking about these things. I mean, the more we talk about it, the less power all of these ridiculous labels like racist and things like that have over us. So I think it's the first step. It may not seem like much, but it's the first step. So thanks for watching and thanks for listening. See you soon.